Welcome to Not Another Baptist Podcast, a podcast exploring church revitalization, church planting, and other Southern Baptist goodies for your ear holes. And today, I guess you could say mouth holes, and I'm going to stop right there before I cross the inevitable line that I would cross. I'm Matt Hensley, pastor of May Hill Baptist. I'm joined by Kyle, non-alcoholic beerman, First Baptist Church in Alamogordo. We're both pastoring fantastic churches in southern New Mexico, wading through the waters of church revitalization, and are glad you joined us as we share a bit about what we're learning. Well, as you know, we promise a train wreck or a dumpster fire every week, and this week's episode will surely deliver as we're joined by none other than Jonathan Howe, Director of Strategic Initiatives at Lifeway, who recently dared Kyle and I to take the Burn or Bliss challenge, the hellishly, if I can say that on air, hellishly hot chocolate challenge. Before
I did not only just like dare you, I provided the goods.
This is true. But before we kill ourselves, we got to ask first, what title randomizer did you find that title? What in the world is the Director of Strategic Initiatives at Lifeway? Tell our 3 listeners out there what you do and how you manage Tom Rayner.
The Director of Strategic Initiatives is basically I get things done when Dr. Rayner needs them done.
Okay,
that's pretty much it. I mean, that's kind of how it boils down. And I manage his blog, manage all the social media, manage a lot of projects in-house here at Lifeway, and denominational relations for the entity, as well as podcast hosting. So
cool.
One of my 2 of my 48 podcasts that I host are with him.
I was going to say, here on Not Another Baptist Podcast, we are extremely excited to be joined by Mr. Baptist Podcast himself.
There we go.
Of course,
something like that.
When you first started talking, I started to wonder, like, how do I sell my soul to the devil to have that voice?
Come on.
That's a great voice.
That's what it is.
Because ours is the $10 Walmart special.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right.
But I guess it's time to die.
Right.
And so, Kyle, tell us how this is going to work. Church revitalization is sometimes like a game of roulette. You don't know what's going to blow up your church, what's going to blow up your mouth in this case.
Yes.
So tell us how this is going to work.
So I have a list of topics that one might come across in the midst of church revitalization, topics that could potentially blow up your church. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up one of these topics, and then Matt, you and I will each grab a chocolate, and we will see if things were smooth sailing, or if you're looking for a job next week. And in honor of I almost give you
I'll take the doctorate. I'll take the honorary doctorate. That'll work.
Since Jonathan is with us, our first topic is a nod to his boss at Lifeway, and that is moving the pulpit. So you land in a new church, a church that needs revitalized, and there's an old pulpit on there, and you think, hey, to signify that this is a new day, I'm going to move this pulpit out of the way. And I did that here, believe it or not, second week.
You didn't move that. You got a table.
Second week. I preached from it the first Sunday, and then I moved in. I have a pub table that I preached from.
A what table?
A pub. Yes, it's like
a non-alcoholic pub table.
Yes. It's not another Baptist pulpit, is what it is.
Yeah. So this Burn or Bliss chocolate thing, I shared on Facebook a bit. Those of you that are not aware, there are 12 little chocolates in here. I believe there's 5 that have 9 million Scovilles of heat in them, which I didn't tell Kyle until about 5 minutes ago, which makes this even better. And probably while I'll be looking for a new podcast host next week.
He doesn't though.
Well, I haven't really worried about that just yet. We're going to take this one bite at a time, like ministry. Okay. So we're going to eat one of these, discuss moving the pulpit. And if we're dying, that's why Jonathan Howe is here. If we start to die, hyperventilate, can't talk or whatever, Howe's going to come in and save the day. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. I got my chocolate ready too, but it's a Dove dark chocolate. So I'm not really guessing that the Scovilles are going to be very high on this.
Probably not. So the first one you said was moving the pulpit. Moving the pulpit.
Yep,
and you brought in the Reformed pub pulpit into your church. So I'll let you pick first.
All right, I'll take the one closest to me.
And so What's your conversation going to be?
What?
You just did it?
I'm just hoping to talk. That's all. So we'll see.
Okay,
all right, ready?
cheers.
Bottoms up.
So this is amazing. I'm getting to watch this, and
hey, I survived. 2 years later, my pulpit's fine. I got a good one. That one was fine.
Matt, did you get a good one?
No,
Matt did not.
I'm trying to figure out if I can just swallow it. I didn't move our pulpit. My word. I didn't move our pulpit because I like it. Like, it's really cool looking. It's big. And so I liked our pulpit. So you moved
there's a trash can right there too,
I'm
by
good.
the way.
I'm good. It tastes good until your entire mouth.
No, that was fine. That was perfect. That was a great piece of chocolate. So actually, I moved our pulpit back. I moved the big one back just a couple weeks ago, and so I did the.
You can like see the pain. He's like the fidgeting is there.
I can see it in his eyes, just sitting right here, man. That's awesome.
Well,
so,
question for you, Kyle, when you move the pulpit, we'll let Matt try to regain his composure here, if that's possible. Did you just tell him, or did you just do it?
I think I just did it. Like, so the lady who leads worship was in here one day, and I said, "Hey, I have an idea." I said, I brought this table with me, and that's what I preached from at the previous church. What do you think? She goes, "Oh, do it." And so, yeah, we swapped it out. And I mean, next Sunday, I was preaching from this table, and there was no issues whatsoever. And like I said, so then after a couple of years, I decided, you know what? Like, we've got this cool old pulpit that's just sitting in a back room. So I'll move it back and preach in there for a little while. And Matt's just hoping he can preach again is all that's happening right now.
I'm good, yes, but it is hot.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Worse than the chip? I don't, because that chip was hot, dude. That was.
We'll see.
Okay,
we'll let you decide.
All right. So Matt, you moved the pulpit. Your church blew up. I'm still making it. We're still going pretty well here. So
I hate how this is going. I was really hoping that Kyle got the first one. Man. The next one is replacing the pews with chairs.
Yes, the sacred pews.
See, this
so
one
stadium
is
seating, all of that.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I mean, you can like Kyle, you said you brought your pulpit with you. I mean, or your table with you.
Right.
And that's not a huge investment, but like changing, I mean, that's a small change that can lead to a lot of different perceptions, but the changing out the pews to chairs, that's a significant financial investment, and, takes a lot more buy-in, because that involves, that changes everything for the people out in the crowd,
right?
Your members, your guests. They're affected by that change a lot more than what you're preaching from pulpit wise.
Now I should also say, disclaimer, we don't advocate you doing any of these things. We just brought them up because they were fun things to talk about while we're.
Shut up and eat another chocolate.
All right.
But so, hey, I will advocate for you go ahead and eat your chocolate. But I've got a reason that I would advocate for changing from pews to chairs. And really, it has to do with the multi-purpose usability of the room.
Hey, yes, I agree.
Because with pews that are bolted down, whatever they may be, your room is good for large gatherings. That's it.
Right.
With chairs, you've got a lot more usability with your room, a lot more flexibility with your facility, which in a lot of smaller churches can be very helpful. All right, bottoms up.
I've decided this is not a fight worth having, so we're just not going to. I'm just kidding.
I got a good story. I hope this is not hot, because I want to tell the story of the pews.
All right. By the way, we do have a trash can here in honor of Major League Baseball starting back up in a couple of weeks. We have our Texas Rangers trash can here. So that is in case things go terribly poorly.
This
we've got an
episode has already gone. He's realizing that like his podcast cred is dropping by like Bitcoin right now.
I was on the potluck podcast, so my podcast cred is already.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go. Bottom.
All right, here we go. We're gonna replace the pews. We're gonna replace the pews with worship chairs. Here we go.
Thank you, Jesus. Okay, here's my story.
No, I'm good.
Dang it.
Well, that only means that there's only 4 good ones left.
That's true.
And there's 4 bad ones left.
No, that one's great.
Yeah. You can do math on the fly. I cannot. So this church I served, we had a like a shotgun style sanctuary, super long, super narrow, and used to run 800, 900 folks. By the time that pastor had been there a little while, it had dropped down to about 250. By the time I got there, it was about 150. And we kept losing folks. And anyway, we had this, seating for 900 or whatever. And everybody, as you know, good Baptists are in the far back.
Oh,
and so this wasn't a matter of replacing pews with chairs, but we decided to take out half of the pews. Took out all the pews, set up like a little entry area to the church with some prayer areas, some information cards, all of that kind of stuff. And you would have thought we just set fire to that church. Like, how could you possibly take out all of these pews? This was my mom's pew, all that kind of stuff. So I have seen where a pew can be a very divisive issue, but I'm ready for you to get a hot one, man. Okay, next one.
Topic number 3, repurposing the parlor.
I don't even know what that is.
The sacred parlor. And I know we don't have a parlor here. And I guess you don't either, apparently.
I don't even know what it is.
So we're apparently not another Baptist churches as well, but parlors are sacred grounds.
A Southern thing, because both of you guys are churches in New Mexico, and you were in Texas at one point.
So I served a couple of churches in Texas where there were, parlors were sacred ground, like Holy of Holies. You only go in there once a year, and only if you're willing to die for it. So and so anyway, you start messing with somebody's parlor, and the sacred ground that Miss So-and-so donated 75 years ago and still has her original furniture in it and smells like her. You can get into some trouble if you start messing with the parlor.
Yep. So eat it. Go. This better be hot. I'm gonna be very upset if this one's hot.
I haven't bitten into it yet because I'm kind of scared.
I'm good.
I'm just
okay.
Matt's good. Happy. Kyle is.
I think I'm good.
What? You bet. It's good.
Yeah, I'm good. It's totally good.
Man, okay.
So that means
there are 6 left. That means that
that might have been hot.
What you got?
He just doesn't know because the first one is still burning.
I've had 3 and they've all been.
Yeah, this one was hot. Okay. So I don't know what the parlor is, but it's
that's
like your bridal.
Do you not have a bride's room?
I would say it's often a bridal room, but it's something that you don't dare. You don't move a speck of dust in there without approval, because that dust was probably paid for by somebody years ago.
Okay, updating your bylaws.
We're
starting this one tonight, and I'm excited about it. There's some changes, even some typos that need to be addressed. But we've got one line in there that, with consent or something. I'm like, what? Did you even look at it twice? But so we're updating that, but it can be a contentious topic. So talk to us, Kyle.
Can be.
Please be hot. Please be hot.
Are we going until I get a hot one? Is that the way
Basically,
this is working?
Because I've clearly lost this battle.
You've
this did not work out like I thought it was going to work out.
You've blown up your church.
You've taken it like a man.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Go. Shut up and eat it. Pumpkin spice latte.
Let's see. Nope, I think that one's good too.
I hate my life.
It's like
I can't tell if I can even tell anymore. Like, my mouth is flaming right now.
Man, that's awesome.
I'm so impressed that Kyle has gone safe every time.
He's clearly living right.
I've lost track. Yeah, yes, he has. He is clearly.
Was that one good for you?
I think so. What's that?
Home field advantage.
You come to my office. This is how it works.
So we begin that tonight, and our process of it is you have to make the changes, have them in writing a month out, and then you read them 2 weeks out from the pulpit, and then you get to vote. And ours has to be a 90% deal. And there's some stuff in there that we need to address and kind of get us up to where we are today, like the 2000 Faith and Message and some of that good stuff. But we also have a great group of deacons that, I shared, some of the issues with it. They're 100% on board. They think it's something we need to do. And I don't foresee any issues, but it's definitely something, unlike this next one, that will surely be a volatile thing. That's one that could be a ticking time bomb with your bylaws.
And that's right. And the thing with the bylaws is, you may be exposing yourself to some to some legal issues or something like that if your bylaws aren't solid.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think whether you're revitalizing a church or an established church or whatever, that's probably something you need to revisit fairly often with someone who really knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, I got a question on yours. I'm going to call somebody else's podcast and start asking questions. Like I'm so used to that. You mentioned, having it say the Baptist Faith and Message 2000 is would it be more prudent? And I'm not saying you're wrong in doing this, but to have something where it's like we're a member of this church will be a member of the Southern Baptist Convention and will adhere to the most recent Baptist Faith and Message, whatever it may be. So like in 20 years, or 15 years, whatever it may be, that the Baptist Faith and Message 2032 is announced or whatever, that it just kind of rolls into that.
So we have the committee that we will be forming tonight. I've already begun a few changes in there, and that's how I have worded it at this point. I want them to take a lot of ownership in it, and I'm going to recommend that for them.
Recommend because that it be the most recent.
Yeah, most recent. Yeah. Sorry,
that's probably a good call.
Because it, if it's not a battle that you really need to have to face all the time. And
go straight 1689, man.
Yeah,
just stay 16.
Go all the way back. Ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, the Potluck podcast guys would say 1644 or whatever, right? Or
I don't know. I haven't listened to them enough to know.
Whatever. What?
I'm a terrible podcast listener.
You're horrible.
I know.
Okay, the last.
All right. So here's the last.
We've only got 4 more chocolates.
That's right.
They've got to be
not
hot.
even in my.
Yeah. All right. Here's our last church revitalization roulette topic: changing the name of the church to something like Soul
Relevant.
Explosion. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Church. Okay,
that's right.
I'm taking that one.
All right. I'll take the one that's closest to me. It's worked for me so far. So let's see. All right. So we are you come into a new church, and it's a First Baptist Church or something like that, and you decide you need a relevant name, and you present that to your business.
And I have a question for Jonathan on this.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh no, that one's hot.
Yes.
Oh, I'm fired. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Everything worked until then.
Okay.
Change the name of the church.
So here's the question. Kyle has changed
hot.
the name of the church, and it is blown up. Jonathan, tell us, in your work with the Southern Baptist Convention, are you spitting it up? Okay.
No.
You good?
Wiping
Are you
my mouth.
dying?
It's definitely warm.
Okay. Jonathan, what are some, you don't have to name where they're at or anything. What are some of the worst names that you've seen on churches?
I'm worried about Kyle.
I'm good.
I don't know if I've seen too many of them that have been so terribly bad that they're memorable. Probably the worst one I saw, and I don't even know if it's a Southern Baptist church or what. So if it is, I'm sorry. If it's not, I'm not sorry really, because it didn't make any sense. It was called Relevate. Like you took the word relevant and elevate and put them together.
They're more than relevant. That's right.
Yeah, I didn't really quite understand that one. Some of the church names that I don't understand or that like just puzzle me are the ones that are like that just don't make any sense.
Yeah.
That are a made up word or something, or they try to use some Greek word or whatever it may be. I guess there's a place, a time and a place for those kind of things, but it's something that you had Mark Clifton on last week on the podcast here. And he had a good little mini rant about changing church names and said that, what's more glorifying to God than seeing a church that has maybe a bad reputation or a bad name, like the gospel witness that it has of being made new and being made being made right, I guess, with that same name, instead of just changing the name and trying to bail on a history of a church, or maybe that has bad, bad connotation or a bad reputation in the community.
Yeah, we one of the church I served had a long history, long name, and but had nothing to do with the town. It had pretty well fallen kind of out of the wayside, out of the public eye. It had used to be prominent and so forth, and they changed it to a name that perfectly reflected their community. It was what that community was known as. There wasn't another church with it, and they've kind of blown through the roof. I mean, a name won't make it, and it can certainly break it, but it can certainly help too. And finding one that's identifiable for the people that are there. You know, I like ours. Mayhill Baptist. It's in
Mayhill, I bet.
We're in Mayhill, ironically, and it's a Baptist church. It's kind of fitting. And
I've seen it been very helpful in certain instances where churches relocate. If they have, some that are Main Street Baptist Church or 34th Street Baptist Church, whatever it may be, and they're not on 34th Street anymore. They moved out to the suburbs or whatever it may be. I get renaming the churches there. But I think sometimes people see church renaming as kind of a magic bullet, silver bullet kind of thing. And it's not. Even if it's a good reason for you to do it, it's not a magic bullet for growth. It's not. It takes a lot more than that.
Yeah. So, Jonathan, we've got one more chocolate apiece. Why don't you give us the last church revitalization roulette?
What's last topic?
What's the last topic? Are you dying?
No.
What was that? Okay. What happened to your board?
I'm really impressed how well Kyle took that. He took it.
He did. He took it like man.
I'm very impressed. You got to work on it, Hensley.
I do.
So I get to pick a new topic.
Yes, go for it.
Ending a long-standing ministry, whether it be bus ministry, whether it be a food bank or something like that.
Yeah,
that's my last roulette thing. The prized ministry of the church.
I can't tell. My mouth is still warm enough from the other one that I can't tell if this is hot or not. I think
I got the hot one.
I think I'm good. I think
this game sucks.
So by my count, you got 4. He got 1.
Yep.
I'm still waiting. I think I'm okay. Or that, or it's just building on top of the other one. No, I think it was hot.
Yeah, once you've got one, it's there. Hot. Okay. I thought I've only
not
had 3.
as bad as the one chip.
Yeah.
I didn't think. Of course, I only got 2 of them at the very end, but that was that was I mean, I'm sweating. That's a decent.
I'm trying to think of a ministry that I've heard of or whatever that would need to be or could be cut out that would cause an issue. Because I haven't done it. There's some traditions.
Churches rather than the larger program-driven First Baptist-y type churches that had these long-standing traditional things, and it could be the. So, I know this is something Jimmy Scroggins dealt with down at First Baptist West Palm, which is now Family Church, with their Christmas spectacular. And I'm not going to call it their Christmas play. It was a Christmas spectacular. It's the one with the camel falling and all that. Yeah. But I mean, I'm trying to think of. Imagine Dr. Gaines, president of the SBC, going, "Hey, this year at Bellevue, we're not going to do our Christmas, singing Christmas tree.
Living Christmas
tree.
That'd
be huge. I mean, that would be worse than those chocolates."
And I had a friend who did that. Their Christmas tree they used for the singing Christmas tree just got to the point where it needed repairs, and it was going to cost so much.
Yeah, those things aren't cheap.
That they just said this is not a sustainable ministry for us anymore. Or like look at Josh King at Saxe's church in the Dallas area. They realized, and Dr. Clifton talks about this in his book, where their kids ministry was solely reaching out to kids of people who attended another church. And that church didn't have a kids ministry. So the parents would drop their kids off on their way to their activity at their church. And he just stepped in and said, probably not. This is not the way that this is going to operate. So that last one was hot, by the way. And it's lingering a little
Josh
bit.
has got the greatest church revitalization church name ever, because if he revitalizes that church, then he can say he brought Saxe back. Kyle about lost his milk right through his nose right there.
That was awesome. Oh man. Well,
Awesome.
I think at this point it's time for our little outro.
Should we say thank you for this? I don't know.
I'll say thank you. I
have enjoyed it thoroughly. Let's just put it that way. It was delicious on this end. My Dove chocolate was great, and I've enjoyed the watching you guys burn.
It was not as bad as I expected.
There is one area of my tongue that is numb right now because I let it just sit there. I was trying not to take it back into the throat, and so I was just kind of letting it sit. And right now, that is just like singeing. So what are you holding up there?
I'm holding up two things. Well, let me grab the other one. Yeah, here we go. All right, so I got two things I'm going to give away to one of your listeners, and I don't know. You can figure out how to do this, but a copy of "Who Moved My Pulpit," which is kind of a basis for today. How to lead change in the church. Yeah. And then Matt, you will recognize this.
I sure do, baby.
The Charles Spurgeon Journal, the marbled journal, Spurgeon Journal. So got an extra copy of that and a copy of "Who Moved My Pulpit."
I would make this Lifeway. What's the title again? Director of Strategic
Initiatives.
Tom Rayner-ism. Whatever it is, you'd be very proud that I used my Spurgeon morning and evening that I bought off of Lifeway with my Spurgeon study Bible that I got from Lifeway, or was that the one you sent me? No, you sent me the lost sermons, and then I used my Spurgeon notebook. Unfortunately, this is where I make you upset because that one I did get from Amazon. But I know I'm a bad man, and in fact, I actually spent more on it on Amazon than I would have at Lifeway anyway. So that was on me. But I wanted it quickly, so I got it. And but I use that every morning, and it's a great journal. And so we'll share with that in the show notes how to get entered in that. And but thank you for listening. Thank you, Jonathan Howe, for the chocolate. Sort of, that's like a halfway thank you. Not quite sure, but we know there's a billion other things you could be doing right now. But you took the time to listen to this train wreck. We hope it was marginally helpful today as we tried not to die. Maybe brought some encouragement as you wade through some of the church revitalization. There's some hard decisions that need to be made and oftentimes do cause some problems when they are, but we need to be ready for that and ready to lead through them and lead graciously and lead pointing to Jesus. But if you haven't yet, subscribe on iTunes or wherever your podcast feed is enjoyed, and visit us online at notanotherbaptistpodcast.com or on Facebook under the same name or on Twitter at NAB_podcast. Until next time, may your coffee be as black as night and as bold as the gospel you declare. Have a great day. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan.
See you soon.